One of the most overlooked negative impacts console fanboy mentalities have on gaming is the toll that the stupidity of their meaningless drawing of lines negatively impacts good games. Why is this the case? Well, pretty simple. Fanboys tend to bash and call for the failure of games, not due to the merits of the title, but partially or entirely because it's on a platform they don't like. This is unfortunately very pervasive with many gamers, even some of you who comment on my videos. Sometimes it's subtle, and sometimes people probably don't even realize that all the games they look more negatively on are on the same platform, but it's an issue nonetheless. I constantly see the bashing of games, especially ones which are exclusive, and I know that the people are bashing the game, not doing it purely because the game itself is bad. Sometimes this isn't even a factor at all. They're doing it because it's on a platform they don't like. See the comments on N4G articles to an Xbox game if you want an example. Phil Spencer, a man who at this stage seems to gain more of my respect every day, called out this behavior on Twitter after he was given shit for saying he's looking forward to playing Uncharted 4. Someone equated his personal preference for a game as an admission of defeat because naturally, as the head of Xbox, you can't enjoy PlayStation games in the same way that the CEO of Columbia Pictures can't enjoy a Disney film, because that makes total sense and isn't completely stupid. In response, Phil Spencer said exactly what I was thinking. He said, "We should all applaud when a team does something special. Those who hope for a team to fail due to platform aren't real gamers." Bravo, Phil, dead on the money. Everyone's favorite Xbox idiot then came back with something like, "Oh, you have to fight until you can no longer fight and fight some more." Like this is a fucking French Revolution or something. I mean, how are these guys not in straitjackets? The toll of the fanboy mentality extends far beyond mere stupidity when it comes to console preferences. The way I see it, people being too obsessed with the platforms a game is on negatively impacts that game because people begin to associate the quality of the title with the platform they don't have. It can be as subtle as noticing that an individual coincidentally doesn't like all of the exclusives on one platform as much as the games on their platform of choice, all the way to blatant propaganda against games and the spreading of outright lies in the hopes that the less well-informed gamers will fall for it. The key factor is that it's usually driven because they don't own a platform that they're able to play the game on. I've alluded to this before, but one of the driving forces behind the vociferous console fanboy mentality is due to people being upset about what they can't play, and because they can't play something, they'll then go out of their way to justify not owning the platform they need to play that game. It's a lot easier to convince yourself you're not making a mistake by not getting a gaming PC if you legit convince yourself that all PC games suck. You see this in tech as well, the drawing of lines between phone manufacturers, but not nearly to the same diluted extent. But of course, the impact of this is that good games don't receive the proper accolades they deserve, or gamers are swayed away from a purchase that they otherwise would have made if it were not for the lies and the bias. Unaware developers become the target of hate because their games aren't on a platform. I mean, Christ, Jonathan Blow was getting shit because The Witness wasn't on Xbox One, and no doubt he was baffled. He probably had no clue that anybody would react in that way. And this is not something exclusive to Xbox guys. Sony guys are just as guilty. Even multi-platform games like Titanfall were bashed, unfairly so, simply because the game wasn't on PS4. I remember looking at the user Metascore on the day of release and knowing immediately that most of the negative ones were from people who didn't even own the game. Titanfall wasn't even an exclusive, but because it was even marginally tied to the Xbox, it was bashed unfairly. And the stupidest thing about all of this nonsense is that this kind of mentality benefits nobody. It certainly doesn't benefit the idiots spouting this crap, because I doubt they're getting a paycheck for any of this. It certainly doesn't benefit the team of developers who worked passionately on their game for the purpose of making a good game. It doesn't benefit your company of choice. It's a complete waste of time. Instead of enjoying games, you're bashing games purely for the purpose of espousing a console war agenda that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of life.